Hey, good evening, comic art fans. Welcome to the 79th Comic Art Fans Update. Bill Cox here, as always. Nice to see everybody in the chat already. I see Dino and Alfredo and Mr. Red Jack, Harry, Jeff, Mr. Easy Go Lucky, Matt, Neon Dragon, all my usuals. Thank you so much for being there. Busy week, so lots of things to talk about, but it probably won't be a late night tonight. I've got other things I want to be working on this evening, but I've got my usual laundry list of things to discuss. I hope everybody enjoyed the show last night. The Dueling Dealers episode was a lot of fun, a little weird, thanks to Anthony, but it all worked out in the end, right? Anthony got his he got $1,000 to parade around San Diego later this year, and dressed as a baby, which should be really interesting. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate that very much. So, as you know. But yeah, it was a good show overall. Mike finally got to $1 million there right at the 1 year anniversary of Dueling Dealers, which was a lot of fun. We were kind of thinking it was going to happen the week before, and things kind of slowed down. So, all in all, it was a very fun show, and I appreciate everybody who's kind of pitched in, both behind the scenes, Maureen, Gwen, and my daughter Emma, and also Ashton. He's done a lot of work on those memes. He pretty much put together the majority of the memes that were there. I mean, couldn't say that. I assembled a lot of them, but he did all the grunt work. The grunt work is always done in the work with the green screens that we put a ton of effort into. I usually give that to him, and then he puts it all together. Sometimes he assembles the final gag, or he gives me all the pieces and I assemble it. So yes, diaper dandy. See, that was very interesting. But so I thought there was a couple things I kind of prepped tonight to show you, because I thought it would be funny if for you to get a load of how we take something and then actually get it ready for a meme. People like Dino, who's been in the show before, has seen some of that kind of stuff that we've done, and of course Anthony and Sharon and Mike are very familiar with it. But just those of you who have done it before are very familiar with it. But I'll show you like a couple. I have one clip I want to show it at the very least. So wanted to get to a couple other things. The disturbance in the forest everybody felt yesterday at 7 p.m. was real. The entire comic art world, as I host it, was froze for about 5 minutes. I kind of know what it was. It was something on the server, but it's back to me having to be the I have to be a guru at everything here, which is part of the problem. I can never get anything done or get to know anything exactly the way I need to. So I'm looking into what caused that to happen. I mean, it freed itself up. I couldn't do anything about it. I was literally 2 hours before Dueling Dealers, and I run over to Ashton. He's in the other office here, and I said, I think I'm going to have to drive downtown and check the servers before the show starts. So he's panicking. I came back in here, and everything kind of smoothed itself out. And I checked the server for some errors, figured out. I saw what it was, so I think I know how to correct it. But I'll probably ask somebody for advice before I get in there and do anything too crazy and too technical. But that's the first time it's happened, and that server's been in production for 2 years now, and that's never done that before. So just it's actually a growing pain more than anything. So I just have to make some adjustments for those things. Yeah, if it was an EMP, everything would have been down, Neon Dragon. But so anyway, that I gotten pings from some people saying CAF is down, and everything went down when that happened. So gremlins for sure, West. It's again, it's all technical stuff, but I'll figure it all out. So a couple things of note. Obviously, today was Frank Miller's birthday, so there was a lot of posts on Facebook. So happy birthday to Frank, the great artist. I saw Nick posted a lot of cool art that he has in his collection on Facebook. So it's always good to remind it of what people have in their collections. Benno's Batman piece, of course, is fantastic, and I'm glad both of them share their galleries on CAF, because they both have great ones. But Frank Miller's birthday today. Sal Buscema's birthday was yesterday, and I think we forgot to send something out as a feature piece of art in yesterday's daily email. So I think tomorrow we're taking care of that, and there'll be a piece of Sal's art in tomorrow's email. So yeah, I wish it was just as easy as that, Samuel, to just turn CAF off and on again. But no SQL injection, not at all. I've got a pretty robust firewall in front of our 2 web servers and SQL database servers. So, while people try, I get firewall reports all the time. There's stuff, everybody's always poking around at it, at everything, but they don't typically get through the firewall, fortunately. So it wasn't anything like that. Just again, it's a growing pains issue. So, but I wanted to, there's not much time left here for this. Let's see, it's 9 p.m. So I think everybody has 4 hours on this one particular thing, but it's actually Sean Phillips' birthday today as well. And I know they're running a sale on Sean Phillips art over at Splash Page. And it's not really a sale. You buy 2 pieces of art, you can get a third art for free as long as it's the price on the art is equal to or under the lowest price of the 2 pieces of art that you're buying. And Sean's art is priced very affordably, and he's a great artist. I've had the pleasure of hanging out with him a couple times early in my art collecting career at San Diego when he made it there a few times. And I'm good friends with Mark Hay, of course. So I wanted to point that out, that Sean's, you can see here if I can read it to you, but his birthday is today. The sale actually started yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it started yesterday, and it's ending at midnight Central Time tonight. So if you want to get some artwork ordered and get a free piece of art, there's plenty of art in his gallery here. So it doesn't matter if it's 2000 AD marble and a lot of the independent stuff that he's worked on as well. Pop through there, and if you want to get 2 pieces, you get a third one for free. So, but you only got 4 hours. If I would have had a show on Tuesday, I would have alerted everybody to that a little bit earlier. So I apologize. I offered Mark some time on this show, but he was like, "Well, nobody's gonna, it's only 4 hours left. So what good is that?" And I'm like, "Well, hey, it's time on the show, and it's an extra plug for Sean." He didn't think I'd be able to drive him a sale. So if somebody goes out and buys something before the end of the night, we'll have proved him wrong. So but he is a prolific artist, absolutely, Chris. And I admire him a lot. I like his style as far as an artist goes. It's very unique and very, very Sean. I love the fact that Sean usually makes himself look like a character in most of the books he does, especially in the the non like Marvel kind of titles. He'll always get himself in there sometimes, or the character he creates eerily resembles him all the time. So there you have it. But yes, I will never underestimate the power of CAF. That is for sure. And that's true. Everybody should check out Bad Weekend by Brubaker and Phillips. I think I just got what did I just get? Oh, that was for Cruel Summer by Brubaker and Phillips. I just got an email from Bud's Art Books. I don't know if you're not on Bud's email list, you should be, because he always pushes out lots of good sales and new product announcements. And I pick up books from him 3 or 4 times a year. So, and they carry Infected by Art. So, Bud's a pal on that level. But I just got a ping about Brubaker and Phillips' Cruel Summer book, which I'm not familiar with, but I'll have to look into that. Let's see. So yes, see, if somebody buys something, I'm going to let Mark know that it was my doing, and he should have came on anyway. So there you go with that. But so next up, just with regards to the dueling dealers, the schedule is I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to plan ahead a bit more than I've done in the past as far as my live stream schedule. And I really got bogged down with Comic Art Live in November, kind of fell off the wagon a bit doing interviews on Tuesday, and we kept wedging in special shows. And well, as it turns out, I'm still wedging in special shows, but trying to get back into the swing of doing interviews. So I've sent out several emails. I've got some emails from people who want to be interviewed, but I can show you at least the upcoming schedule here for the interviews I've got. So next Monday, I've got Dick O from, he's a CAF collector. Look him up. I'll have the thumbnail posted and a link to his gallery set up probably tomorrow. Don't forget that next Tuesday will be the Best of 2021 awards and the 19th anniversary of CAF. We will be 19 years old at that point. So hard to imagine 19 years, but it seems to be getting better and better every year, and my passion for the hobby grows more and more. So COVID be damned, I think we've made the best of the last couple of years, and I'm certainly looking forward to the next 19 after that. But that is the Best of 2021 awards. And I have to tell you, I did get a sponsor, believe it or not. I talked with Heritage, and they are going to sponsor the 2021 awards for me. So that's going to help me pay for the trophies that we are having 3D printed. And I will actually have Joe and Nadia will join me at the beginning of the award ceremony, just for 10 minutes. We'll talk a little bit and then get on with the show. So I'm really happy that I emailed Mr. Halprin, and he said that anything I need, he's happy to support it. So I was tickled. I didn't think, I figured being such short notice they wouldn't do it, but they did. So we'll be it'll make the show even a little bit more special there to get things kicked off. Because that's on Tuesday that week, no interviews, but the following week on Monday, I've got a Comic Link, the Focused Auction watch party again. And then on Tuesday, Cameron Jarvis from Inky Knuckles. So I've emailed with Cameron a lot, but I've never met him. And he maintains a gallery on CAF, but he only really shows work related to his Inky Knuckles artists. So this should be a pretty unique conversation, and we'll get to see some artworks in his collection that he's not sharing anywhere. So that should be a lot of fun. Can't wait for that. And haven't got anybody set up for the 15th or 29th yet, but I'm sure I'll have those slots filled by tomorrow after I follow up with some people. Got Phil R on the 22nd. That's a Tuesday as well. And then Jeremy Roberts, again, another CAF collector, will be on the 1st of March. Jeremy was part of the Perez tribute, if you remember. And after I saw it, I was like, Jeremy's a pretty cool guy. And I checked out his CAF gallery, and so I sent him an email, and he agreed. So he'll be my guest on March 1st. I know no Frank Lanza, David. He is on my list of people to chat with. I'm looking for that Post-it note because it was on my desk just not too long ago. I don't know where I put it, but Frank is on the list. I had meant to reach out to him, and then we had some issues with. Well, I had just had too many issues there at the in the last month. But he's on the list. I guarantee you, it's going to happen, David. I promise. He's there, but I have not emailed him yet, and I don't know. I have so many Post-it notes. If you guys could see my desk, you'd be ashamed of me because there's just way too much stuff that I've that's the only way I can keep track of anything, and I can't find. Clearly, I've lost a Post-it note on my desk. Whatever happened to the Greg Hildebrandt? It was going to be an interview and a sale, and they were all for it, Neon Dragon, and I don't really know what went wrong. They were telling me that they were going to make some pieces for the chat that we could sell specifically for that. I think we're supposed to do it in November originally. Then I moved it to did we move it to the end of December or early January? They backed out of that one. So I'm hoping that, but I'll probably wait until, if they don't get back to me, I'll go back to them around the end of February and say, hey, do you think you're going to be ready? So, I'd like to do it. I've talked with Greg in person a couple times at IX. Really, really nice guy. I'd love to be able to promote some art sales for him. And it's just a matter of getting them to have the artwork more than anything. I think I could sit down with Greg probably anytime and talk with him, but they want to do an art sale as well. And Sam, the Chaikin drop is going to happen on Saturday, so I might as well go ahead and show you the schedule for basically the sale shows. I kind of changed the header on this. Instead of saying Dueling Dealers schedule, it's really an upcoming art sale schedule. So Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Howard Chaikin and I will be doing a live interview and claim sale. There will be 13 pieces of art available for sale. I can show you just, I had a couple pieces here. Most of the pieces are like the one on the left. They are character commission pieces. I forget the size, 8x14. I could be wrong. I'd have to double check. And then he did an 11x17 Star Wars 1 cover recreation. So there are 12 pieces like the artwork on the left and just the one cover recreation. And he will be taking on a commission as well. Now that show will be done more in the vein of like the Gerhard show or the Vosberg show, where you're emailing in to do your claims rather than doing them in the chat. This is kind of it's a little bit of a new format. I was approached by somebody who, along with Howard, to do this show, and they have their own fulfillment services. So for the buyers, I can let you know that the artwork is already with the fulfillment company, and I'm feeling stupid for not remembering the name of the company now. Third Eye Comics, I think. They will be handling all of that. So the thing is, as soon as they get payment, which would hopefully be that Saturday afternoon, I would anticipate all the artwork being shipped on Monday. So this is probably like the best case scenario for any of the shows like this that we've done in the past, where like the Talent Talk shows where the artwork didn't get shipped until they knew which artworks had to be shipped to who was handling the fulfillment. What they chose to do was ship all the art. So anything that doesn't sell will probably end up going back to Howard. But the good news for the buyers is that you should get the artwork in less than a week. And I think that that's great. And if it does work out as well as I think it will, then I would like to think that we can, maybe I can work with this company in the future when we're doing similar sales. So you can see from the other parts of the schedule, on the 2nd, it'll be a regular show. On the 9th, Mike is going to be out of town. He thinks he can do it from out of town. If he can't do it from out of town, I'm going to be sitting in for Mike. So that's why we opted to do 1,000 and under show on that Wednesday. On the 14th, Valentine's Day, that evening, Davi Go from Next Comic Art will be on with me. It's very similar to the Manic show that we did last month. We'll chat with Davi and Jiggy as well, and we'll have some art there for sale. So that should be fun. Regular show after that. Then on Monday, February 21st, it will be Kat Taka versus Sharon Snyder and an amateur dueling dealer bout. So that one, the format's going to be a little bit different than normal shows that we've done with amateur dueling dealers, but I think it's going to be 15 rounds, but only one piece per round for all of it. And we kind of modified the pricing levels. Sharon will be selling Anthony's art, but Sharon is going to choose the artwork that she brings to sell. So that will be an interesting bout. Regular show after that. Then I was emailing with Jiggy today, and we're always kind of like 12 hours behind because he's in the Philippines, but we were trying to set up Miko Swayan for the 28th of February for a similar show to the one with Davi and Mannix. And potentially we'll be doing another show in March. But other than that, another regular show. And then on the 7th of March, we will have an amateur dueling dealer battle with Jordan, who, as everybody knows, has been on many times, and also Matt Kennedy from Pop Sequentialism. So that's going to be a really fun bout. Matt's going to be bringing some very interesting pieces from his collection. He's got a very, very cool collection. And I know that he'll be bringing some animation art and a few other things as well that we're not used to seeing. So it should make for a very interesting show. I think so. So as you can see, I'm planning things out a month in advance and just trying to keep things in order. I think eventually I might just need a calendar and just show it off that way. But it's going to be busy, and I'm trying to get back to normal on that front as far as just kind of keeping pace with the regular shows. Now that the holidays are past, and we're going to never say that they're not back to normal, but yeah, we'll get close. So a couple other things, announcements to make. I did get an email from Bashar because he's going to be running some ads on CAF for the next month that on February 27th, if you're in the Bay Area, Bashara is putting on another comic art show, this time the SF Comic Art Show. It's you can see the domain name there as well, sfcomicartshow.com. This will be hosted on Sunday, February 27th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I know there's I think there's a $20 entry fee, but spouses and children get in free. So bring your significant other and enjoy buying some comic art. At that. I don't think he he didn't tell me in the press release who all was going to be there, but I'm sure it's going to be the same people as attend the LA show, but probably a few other guests and art dealers. I'm sure will also be in attendance for that. So I just wanted to promote that for Bashar because I haven't got his ads on the site yet, but I'll have them on there for him tomorrow. So if you enjoy the LA show, and again, I've never been to it, but again, it's anytime anybody's doing anything in the comic art world that like that, it should be promoted, and I'm happy to do that. Who wants to be my significant other, Marcus? Well, I don't know. You never know. Well, there you go. Chris has volunteered. That's very true, David. Only way I can buy comic art is if I leave my significant other at home. That is probably true as well. So, all right. Okay. So Chris is saying that Magnola, who I know regularly is at the LA show, Art Adams, Joyce Chin. There you go. Sounds good to me. So aside from that, I also wanted to mention that I do have a firm date now for the next Comic Art Live. And as you can see, it's going to be in May, as it always is. And we've got it set up for the 14th and the 15th. It would be cool if we could do something on Friday evening as well. I'll have to see if there's any possibility of pulling something off where we do kind of a preview night, not for the hall, but to at least do something live and art sale related, sort of like when we did the drink and draw kind of thing with the artists that was done through Hero. Maybe we'll do something similar, but at the very least, the show will be on the 14th and 15th. Normally it would be the following weekend, but I looked at the schedule and MegaCon's back. They're going to be back on their regular schedule this year, so they are on the 20th through the 22nd. So normally I like that weekend before Memorial Day, and we've had the luxury of doing it on that weekend because there were no in-person cons the last 2 years in May, for the most part. So I'm moving it to the 14th and 15th, and that actually kind of lines it up better with the November period because we were always the second weekend in November as well. Typically, I think it's just, I don't know why it worked out that way. Either there was something else in the weekend before Thanksgiving, or I just like to avoid that weekend because of travel. But either way, I think that it puts it right where it should be with regards to the November show and keeping things 6 months apart. So 14th and 15th of May, mark your calendars. So the other thing going on there, a Zoom cocktail party Friday night. That could be, I think, a hangout at the very least. We should do something like that in advance of the show, and it would be good PR for the show. As everybody knows, I'm pretty terrible at marketing Comic Art Live. I've really relied on just the the CAF base to make the show fun. I haven't really done a whole lot of advertising. Marcus would yell at me for that, and I wholeheartedly yell at myself all the time for not having the time. It's not like I don't have the money or whatever. It's more just the I need an extra production person to kind of help me get through some of the things, that the basic stuff. I think we could attract bigger audiences, have more exhibitors if I were able to put in a lot of work ahead of time in the 3 or 4 months leading up to it, which really starts now. So there you have that. But it should be a good show. Every show has gradually increased sales wise every time. So I fully expect that we're going to have a fantastic show in May. I'd like to think that I'll be able to quantify over 1.5 million in sales, so that would top November's numbers. So again, I'm looking forward to it. And also, I did reach out to MegaCon. They had contacted me last year about doing a panel in the summer, and I didn't want to do it because of COVID and everything, and I just felt like it wasn't the right time for me to be doing it. But I reached out to them and said I may be down. My move may be done by that time, and I may be in Orlando area. And if they were open to having me do a panel, an original comic art panel, and I were there, I'd love to do it. So I was contacted by them today, or maybe it was yesterday. I don't know. I think it was yesterday. And they did say that they would love to have me do a panel if I wanted to. I would just need to kind of give them a list of guests and what the topics would be, or what topic would be. And so I'll get back to them, and we'll see if that can work out. Obviously, trying to go from Comic Art Live and then racing over, and switching gears and doing a panel at MegaCon might be a lot, but at the end of the day, it could be a lot of fun. I know there's a lot of collectors in Florida, and I'm sure we could put on a good panel if I brought a few people in there. I mean, I would assume Ken from 4C would definitely join me, Ken Carson. So I can definitely work with him, and I'm sure I can get a few other collectors involved. So we'll see. I know that, but I also wanted to mention because, as everybody knows, it's the talk of a couple Facebook groups that I'm in, and why won't that thing highlight? There it goes. That the big show that I'm going to be at, and I know a lot of other art collectors are going to be at, is going to be this year's HeroesCon. That's the weekend of June 24th through the 26th. And I mean, from the chat groups that I'm in, I mean, I think we're going to have probably 40, 50 people from CAF and from the Comic Art Live chats that are going to be there. I think it's going to be, the first big mixer I think that we'll have been able to have in over 2 years, and I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't really, given any thought to like trying to do anything special there for the show, but maybe we should look around and see if we can't, make sure we can get a corner of some restaurant or bar, do some kind of a, guaranteed get together on either Friday or Saturday night. I know that there's always things going on during Heroes after the show, but I do feel like we should get together and celebrate the fact that we can actually get together, and that will be the show for sure that I will be attending. And anybody who wants to to get in on that, I completely hope you can, because I know it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think it's very, there you go. Scott's going to be there, right? Exactly. I think Scott said, you said you might be able to make it one of the days. Yeah, Cafapalooza. Exactly. It's going to be a good time no matter what. No Fight Club though, Samuel. Unless I'm just the referee, because I'd be pulverized in any kind of Fight Club. George Hodge will be performing. I didn't know that, but I knew George was going to be there. And Matt says he's never done Heroes, and I'm telling you, yes, it's gonna be the ultimate. If everybody enjoys these hangouts, Heroes is gonna be just like that. I mean, I'm not working any booths or anything. I think Anthony might be going to that show too, so I'll pop in and hang out with him every once in a while. But I want to be there as a collector. At the end of the day, I just want to have a good time and be able to hang out with anybody there that that can make it. And I've already got my hotel room guaranteed to go, and I'm looking forward to it. So, definitely ping me if you're going, and we'll make sure that we can hook up. But I'm sure I'll be able to. You'll find me. I'll have a Comic Art Live or a Dueling Dealers or a CAF shirt on. I won't be hard to miss. So. Yes, and again, it's just judging from the chat, you can see it's going to be a great show. All right, so let's see, what else did I want to talk about or show you? Oh, well, I talked to you a little bit about I should have probably showed this when we were talking about Dueling Dealers, but I wanted to show you the green, some of the green room editing that goes into making the memes, just so you can see what I film. In this case, was the Thor pinata bit, and then I gave it to Ashton, and I'm like, you got to make me like a baby. So I've kind of superimposed the two things, so you can see what I filmed and then what I gave to Ashton to kind of put together, just to make something fun out of it. And it's a lot of work. Probably took him like an hour to fix this one.
Blast! How can I keep missing it? It's right there! Hulk! I'm tired of your games!
Exactly. Here's son, make me into a baby. Yeah, so he's got to shrink me, he's got to stretch me, basically cuts my head off, puts the head on a separate layer, makes that bigger, and then on that one, well, the Thor hammer is awesome, but the problem is the end is actually reflective. And so what happens is the whole time I'm holding it, one side or another is reflecting the green background. And so it's always disappearing because of that. So we're actually going to paint it a flat gray just to stop that. But because we end up having to fix it all the time, because because of the green screen, everything, it becomes transparent, and then you see everything through. And it's just a pain in the rear end, because then you have to put this block in there so that it doesn't mask it. And it's just, and then move it around to follow the character. So, or follow the hammer, which is even worse. So yes, get in my belly. Exactly. It's like a mini me. I should have done all of them, that you guys would laugh. But, and I have to tell you, we actually recorded a meme that we didn't show last night. And I don't know why. Maybe Maureen was tired of hearing everybody, say their eyes were hurting them from seeing Anthony in his diaper. But we'll show this one unseen meme next week, because it was funny. Actually, I showed it to Mike afterwards in the green room, because I had forgotten about it, and he said he thought it was the funniest one, the funniest bit that I'd put together. So, and it was pretty good. It definitely, I think was a good one, but we didn't show it. So you'll see it next week. Use gray duct tape, but gray duct tape is probably a little reflective. I'm gonna have the kids paint some kind of flat acrylic on it, just so it's not going to reflect anything, and then I won't have to deal with that anymore, because it's been a bit of a pain in the rear end ever since I started doing the memes with Thor on a green screen, and I didn't understand what was wrong at first, but now I know. So there you have that, and I think that was probably all of those, yeah. But here was an interesting thing. I tried contacting Ben Saunders about, we've talked about doing an Ohio get together in Columbus for the Marvel exhibit, where there's a ton of original comic art on display, and also doing something with the Billy Ireland Museum that weekend. I've reached out to the Billy Ireland Museum. They didn't never get back to me. So either I'm gonna have to drive down there, or I'm just going to have to get on the phone and just demand I talk to somebody important. But hopefully, we're going to work that out. But the good news is actually Ben Saunders is coming into town the weekend after next. And Ben is the one who organized the exhibit, and it has, he basically has kind of gone to every place it's been moved to, and done a little bit of help with the setup and direction. But he's coming to Mike Berkey's house next Friday, because he was going to be picking up some Spider-Man artwork, and they're going to be going over, a big part of Mike's collection, I guess, and seeing what's there. And then they've asked me to join them on Saturday because we're going to drive down to Columbus and get a preview of the Marvel exhibit and take the art that Ben has picked out and make that a part of the show. So hopefully in the time that I'm going to be with Ben on Saturday, we can finally kind of pin down when I might be able to do that weekend in Columbus where we can go to both the Marvel exhibit and the Billy Ireland Museum and have a good time. So at least if I can't work anything out with Billy Ireland, at least where all collectors are going to the Marvel exhibit on a set weekend. So Ben seems accommodating to that, but I'm gonna try to really firm that up and give us a date to rely on and that we can put on the calendars. But I think that the show, I know it runs for about a year, and I've talked with Albert because Albert's been invited to like the opening, but I think it's in March, and so really nobody wants to go in March. At the end of the day, it's just still too cold and wet here in Ohio. So we're hoping to put something either in, probably. I mean, May's looking busy now, right, with Comic Art Live and MegaCon. So I would probably be shooting for something in early June, but I'll let everybody know what kind of progress I can make after I get to talk with Ben about that. So. All right, Chris Lutz definitely could be there, and yes, it does have a lot of incredible art, Chris. That is for sure. So sorry, just reading through the chat. Yeah, Ohio is not the Sunshine State, unfortunately, but we'll work it out, and I hope the more advance notice we can give, the better. I mean, Mike had talked about anybody that would want to go over to his place on whether it would be a Sunday or a Monday after the show, he'd be more than accommodating. So anybody who was making a trip or wanted to actually see the Romita Mansion and check out some of the things in his collection, I knew he was going to kind of open things up for that. But good time. Even if I'm down in Florida, I still will come up to Ohio for that. And I've got relatives in Columbus, so that I don't see often enough. So it actually would be a good trip for me to do. Yeah. Yeah, weather is anything but phenomenal in Ohio right now. It's probably about 10 degrees outside, and I still have about 2 feet of snow out there that I can't cut through now with a shovel because it's frozen now. But at any rate, so that's where we're at with that, and with all the schedule stuff that I've got going on. You guys, Ohio has 2 good months. Yeah, well, I should be. Again, I'm still on pace to sell the mini golf. I'll let everybody know that. I hope to be. Hope that is completed by the end of February and off my plate permanently after that. We're still just trying to finalize just a couple of the nuances to the sale, because it's a business and a property, and there's just a couple issues that I'm trying to work with them on to just wrap this thing up. So I have one more conversation with them tomorrow, and I think we can finally get the purchase agreements finally drafted and get this thing done. So that's been eating up a lot of my time, that and finishing up my taxes for the year. But at any rate, comic art related stuff, that was pretty much like my main list. I haven't gotten anything new from anybody as far as video clips go. I did talk with Matt Kennedy and asked him to put something together for his gallery. So maybe I'll get something from him for next week. Fingers crossed. You never know. But now he's going to be busy prepping for Dueling Dealers, so that might not happen. So I'm going to hop right into the CAF update. Right, we're only 30 minutes in. Like I told you, I thought this was going to be a quicker night than usual, just because there wasn't a whole lot of new news to go over. But the dealer, the whole update period, as we know, this is last week, Monday through Sunday, and it's from the 17th through the 23rd. And dealers and the auction houses did much better. Although when I show you the dealer images that I've got, this is like the first time I've never really talked about I try to let you guys know all the nuances that we do, right? Well, when we started doing dealer market data, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, one of the things I knew that we needed to do was keep an image, right? We needed to have an image for the artwork sales to at least give you some kind of a reference point from the dealers. But I didn't want to save the large image because that's just eating up drive space, right? So Maureen and I changed the programming on all of the dealer sites so that when they delete a piece of artwork, the thumbnail is left behind. So we've always got at least a 200 pixel tall image of the thumbnail from the dealer site to show with the market data. Well, somehow, and this I don't think this has ever happened before, but 3 of the top 6 sales, the dealer deleted the artwork at the time. I mean, deleted it from their server, which never happens. Most dealers like to leave an item sold and leave it out there for months, if not years, right? At least weeks, it'll be out there, or at the very least, that even the ones that do handle things properly, they'll turn it off, and it'll still be available in the admin, and so I can still get the large image. But 3 of the 6 images in the top 6 sales from dealers were gone. I mean, literally gone. 2 from Panel Page and 1 from Quan. And I mean, I just don't. I was befuddled when I went to pick up the images today because I've never seen that. So I don't know what was in the water, but maybe I'm going to have to grab these images a little bit quicker than I expected because I've never had that happen before. But during this period, almost $400,000 in sales, $396,400 in total were sold by original comic art dealers. Ramita Man led the way with one big sale, and you'll see that when I feature the 6 pieces. He had 17 sales and $146,000. Quan was next, 67 sales, almost $100,000 himself, $97,465 in sales. Felix, 39 sales, $31,000. Albert, 16 sales, almost $30,000. Anthony, 77 sales, more sales than everybody, like he always does. And he had just under 30 as well. And Splash Page next, 18 sales, $18,000. Panel Page, 2 sales and 2 deleted pieces of artwork, $15,000 in sales. And then TD Art Gallery rounding out the dealers with over $10,000 in sales. She had 9 sales and just over 12. So let me show you the top 6 items and just bear with me on the 3 images. I think it was 3, 5, and 6 that are going to look really jaggy when they show up. And I made these myself, by the way, so there's no great sliding or anything on this. Ashton was busy today, so I had to put these together myself. But let's see. First item is the big one. And so there you have it, $396,400 in total sales by comic art dealers. And the first piece is a doozy, right? As Mike would say. This one sold for the asking price of $135,000. It's a classic Wally Wood Weird Science 22 cover. And next up, this one was sold by Felix, by Ryan Otley, $10,000 on this one. This was from Hulk issue 3, and the cover, of course. Sorry, I'm not sliding it around. Here's the fuzzy one. This is by Olivier Coipel, sold by Quan for $10,000. This was the cover to Thor issue number 8. All right, and let's see. Next up, this one was from Splash Page Comic Art. Charlie Adlard, of course, that sold for $9,000. This was a variant cover to the Walking Dead Deluxe, Volume 2. I'm assuming that's probably some kind of a trade paperback or something, or box set. But there was that. Now we've got the 2 blurry ones from Panel Page. First up is this John Byrne FF 234 page that sold for the asking price of $7,500 and also selling for $7,500. As an asking price was this artwork by Mark Bagley from Amazing Spider-Man 381, page 8. So I do apologize for the quality on those. I will try to pick those images up a little bit faster. Colin gets me the dealer report usually by noon on Monday. So I think from now on going forward, I'll just get those images at noon on Monday and not wait till noon on Thursday, because maybe I could have gotten most of them. But yep. So sorry about that. The crypto invaded the system. Oh, that's right. That was a big announcement from Panel Page this last week, wasn't it? That I didn't read it. I just saw the headline. It said that Panel Page is now accepting crypto. So, I mean, that's interesting. I'm not sure what his method for doing that is, but maybe I'll have to ask. I have no idea. Sorry, just reading through the chats that I missed. But yeah, it's how it goes. So there you have it. So a decent sales week, but obviously if you take out Mike's sale, it would have been an average sales week. So, it's okay. It would have been around, 260 without him. But good to have a big sale in there, and congrats to Mike on that. So next up is the auction results, and a good week as well for auction houses, 335,758 and change. Of course, it's down from the $11.6 million that we had the week before, but that was the Heritage Signature Auction week. So 335,000 for eBay, and Heritage alone is actually a rather decent week for them both. And so I'll show you the top 6 sales on for both of them: 3 from eBay, 3 from Heritage, and all of the images are of good quality. So there you have it again, 335,758. This first piece is by Matt Wagner, Grendel Devil by Deed, number 3 cover. Sold for $7,500, but I know it was a best offer or a make offer, and I was not able to look it up. Next up, another make offer sale. I hate to tell you that, but it was $3,500. This was James Stocco, and this is Godzilla Half Century War number 1 cover. And finally, this one was not a best offer. This one actually sold for $3,350. This was the cover to Ultimates 2, number 100 by Mark Bagley. And now the 3 sales from Heritage. First up, this one, $13,200 for this Gabriel Dell'Otto Batman specialty piece. It's a beauty. Boy, if it's Gabriel makes artwork like that all the time. He could make a mint if he could sell those for $13,000 all the time. Next up, Bill Willingham, Bill Anderson, Justice Machine annual number 1. This was the inside back cover. Important piece to Elemental's history. No, I did not buy it. It sold for $12,600. And finally, this Jim Lee Scott Williams Justice League number 3 page 20, in fact, sold for $9,600. And that rounds it out. eBay had 803 sales and made up about 155,000 of that. And they had 25 sales over $1,000. Heritage, remember the week before, what was it, like $80,000? Well, this week they had 228 sales, $180,000. 39 of the lots of out of 228 exceeded $1,000. So they had a really solid week. It was Heritage really that carried that overall $335,000 figure to make it a really solid week for auction houses. So let's see what else. Soko is so great indeed. I completely believe it. And Elementals, I loved it too, but I have that cover, that Amazing Heroes cover. So when I saw that, I just think it's, I would never, where would you have put that cover, like 4 or 5 years ago? It would have been in the 3,500, 4,500 maybe. I mean, it's just crazy seeing the market be at like 3 times, where it was just, 3 or 4 years ago. And I know we talk about that all the time, but it is, it's just an amazing spot that we're in. And that, like that Dell'Otto, man, I mean, for that price, I mean, he could do those at show, it could be done at a show. You can't, how does one do that, as a commission for somebody and not be at like half of that when you see your artwork selling for that much money at Heritage? I mean, I know that's with the juice and everything, but still it's definitely an odd time we live in. And I think it'll be curious to see how, cons and con sketches and commissions get priced over the next couple of years when people see their artwork selling for so much at auction. It's just going to make, it's just going to make things very, very interesting in the next couple of years. There you go, David. Yes, with 80 people watching, and we only have 36 likes on YouTube. Come on, let's click that thumbs up button if you haven't already. And it is wild. It's just definitely wild. And if I was a creator, I'd be wanting to get what my art's going for on the market. I think gone are the days of people. You want to accommodate fans as best you can, right? But I think we're in a different place in time now. And I mean, it's kind of bad for the fans and bad for us in some ways. But I can't see how can somebody like make something 10%. Because you figure how much could that have gone for? I mean, I don't know what his commissions usually go for, but even if it went for 3 and then sold for that much, that's a 4 times markup. I mean, it's just crazy. But okay, so the Rich, it was around 4,000 a few years ago. Yeah, exactly. I know, and it's I was looking for, I was interested in it when it was down there, but that cover I think sold 6 months ago for a little less than that too. I was around, well, maybe around 10 and a half, somewhere around in there. So yeah, you just never know what these things are going for. But yes, I'm sorry, just reading through the chat again. But yes, hit the likes, you filthy animals. All right, thank you, Derek. So all right, so there we have that, and I don't think I had anything else to cover before I bring Chris in. But so I think Chris is ready. I see him in the green room. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Oh,
sorry. Good. How are you?
I'm good. I got to get a drink. Do you got, how's the mic situation?
Does it sound okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then I think we're good.
I was going to say, I think it does sound different. So I assumed you were on the new mic.
I sorted out the camera and I sorted out the mic. I still haven't sorted out the headphones.
Hey,
But
well, I've been using earbuds for a while, Bluetooth ones, and I went through 3 different pairs before I found one that was that worked consistently. I know everybody
yeah,
usually likes the Mac ones, but
I got a set of AirPods and they won't stay connected.
yep, yeah, I can show you the 2. I've got 2 that are just shelved because they did the same thing. They just would crackle in and out, stay connected for 5 minutes, drop for a couple seconds, and I just gave up on them. But this current pair, I don't know if it's got in there. Sorry, tell you the brand if I could. Well, maybe I'll email it to you because I did buy them on Amazon, but they were fairly priced and they work great. I haven't had a single problem with them.
Oh, Sean Gordon Murphy's in the chat. I'm like, I'm gonna shrink now.
I was going to point that out too. And try to price slightly below market so buyers feel good about their purchases, so they'll keep coming back. Right. Well, that's just it. You kind of have to, right, Sean? That's I just think that that we're in a really, really interesting time. I mean, when I first started collecting, I always felt like creators were undercharging because they were trying to accommodate the fans. They wanted everybody to walk away with something, be happy. They wanted to cover their expenses to get to shows, and and the prices, well, they felt right. They felt low, right? I mean, some creators were even doing stuff for free when they were getting everything paid to go to a convention. But those days just aren't going to be here anymore. I mean, with artists that are not repped and doing their own business, I mean, they're seeing the sales be what they are. And similarly, when they are repped, I mean, the reps are seeing what the prices are too. So they're going to start. They were commanding. The reps are helping command the prices. In their own way, of course, as well they should. I mean, creators deserve to get the money that the market will bear. I mean, it's been. I think we're finally there. I think we're creators are getting their due. So Sean, nice to have you here tonight. I appreciate it. It was fun when we got to do the little walkthrough at Metropolis during the show and everything. So thank you for hanging out. And hey, appreciate that as well. I try to keep everything positive around here as best I can. Times have been tough since COVID started, right? But at the end of the day, we've made the best of it these last couple of years, and it's because we've been able to hang out and share our familiar stories and watch earpods pop out of Chris's ears every now and again. So why don't we get to talking about the popular art? And I should say that next week, we had talked about last week, we're going to have a guest on. Tim Guerrero will be here, and he'll be picking out the 10 picks next week. So the first Thursday of the month, we will try to have on a guest that will pick the pieces. So anybody who wants to do that, just let me know. Obviously, I won't need anybody till the first Thursday in March, but it's always good to have a lineup of people that I can go and ask just to see if they're going to be available. And it's always good to have a fresh opinion, as we found. Having Chris here has changed the show dramatically when we talk about original comic art. Yeah, no, hey, no, Sean, we don't mind at all. It's always good to have creators in the audience. So, all right. Let's get the picks up here from Chris and slide this around. Maybe fix the screen size a little bit here. Try to get the art a little bit bigger. All right, that's a little bit better. All right. So first up, piece by Travis. Fantastic.
Yeah, I know I've picked Charade before, but I was very close to, well, I tried to buy this piece myself at one point, so it holds a special place in my heart. So this was produced when like Hong Kong action movies were all the rage, and you see a lot of that being played out here, kind of in the choreography that's going on in the panels. So just a really cool piece. And then that, if you can scroll up, that bottom panel has all that Chow Yun Fat action in it. He's jumping to the side, firing 2 pistols. Just awesomely rendered, obviously, by Travis. And then I think this is inked by Troy Hubbs. So between Troy Hubbs and Richard Friend, I'm kind of hard pressed to pick which inker I liked better on this, unfortunately, too short run. But great DPS.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, great pick. I saw this one as well, and so it would have been on my list if you hadn't done it. So I'm glad that you picked it out. And you're right, it was Troy Hubbs on there. I've added my like to it. So whose collection was it? Oh, it's in Joe A's. Oh, yeah. Joe A has a really, really nice collection of original comic art in his CAF gallery. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. And hey, Sean, I see Sean said he'd volunteered to come on for an interview. I'd love to have you on. Email me to bill@comicartfans.com and we'll set something up. I've always got space for creators. I don't talk. I always say this, Sean. I don't get the chance to talk to original comic artists and writers as much as I'd like to. So I'd love to have you on sometime.
A good. I agree with Wingo there. That's peak Wildcats for me too.
Oh, sorry, wrong one. There we go. Yes, peak Wildcats. Well, now the thing is up, and we know you have a thing about the things, right? So let's see. This is by Sal and Esposito. And this is it's an Ilko's collection. So yeah, Ilko has a fantastic collection as well. I mean, I'm always saying that about everybody, but Ilko really does have a great collection.
So this is Sal's birthday was this week, is my understanding. So this is a pick in honor of Sal's birthday. And for me, obviously, this is a character pick. I think he's fighting the Executioner. I can't totally tell, but the hair and the facial hair look a lot like Executioner. But anyway, just a cool Marvel 2-in-1's page from the Cult of Sal.
That's a beautiful piece. And yes, it was Sal's birthday yesterday. So no, this is Marvel 2-in-1. I've always wanted to get a page from Marvel 2-in-1. I've not been fortunate enough to see one in person to actually be able to pick one up, but I hope to one day. So what this was from issue Marvel 2-in-1 number 7. Wow, page 10. Fantastic.
Yeah, so pretty early.
Yeah, no, this is great. And he's got a mace. There you go.
It's a great battle page.
Yeah, no, without question. All right, so next up, this is from Dave McKeon, Black Dog, and let's see, it's in Christian. Okay, Christian's gallery. Very cool.
So I'm not really a follower of Dave McKeon necessarily. Wasn't a big Sandman reader or anything like that. So obviously saw the covers. That was big when I was working in a comic store. So definitely familiar with his art. I really liked a lot of the mixed media stuff that he did that were almost like him taking a photo of kind of an installation almost. So that stuff was really cool. But this just the textures and the brushwork here just blew me away on this piece. I'm not familiar with the source material, unfortunately, but there's just so much happening here from a textural perspective that it just this was a thumbnail where you can kind of make out that top panel when you see the thumbnail in CAF, and it just drew me in immediately.
Well, I mean, similar to you, I was never big into Sandman. I hate to say it, but I regret that. I'd let you, and only because I wasn't reading comics at that time. I'd kind of skipped out for about 10 years between college and getting married, and so I hope to fix that at some point. But no, I love Dave's work, and like you said, he carries over that kind of textural quality in his brushwork here. Is so familiar with in most of his work. So this is a great pick. I did not see this when I was going through the site the last week, so I'm glad you picked this one out.
Yeah, it's really layered. Like the layering that he has happening here with the different elements is so effective. It's a terrific piece.
Now this one's a fun one from Paul Smith, the Rhino, and let's see, what is it from? Oh, it's from 2021. And so whose collection we got? Oh, AK. All right.
I guess I didn't realize, but in looking at the chat last week, I feel like I kind of inadvertently bagged on Paul Smith when I said that he wasn't my favorite X-Men artist. I didn't mean to. So Paul Smith for me is his watershed thing in my mind was the Golden Age, which was that Elseworlds JSA book that he did with James Robinson.
Right. That
for me still holds up as it's one of my favorite superhero books of all time. So Paul Smith is really special to me. But this Rhino piece, it's so Silver Agey. It's so it's definitely got some Ditko feel to it. But at the same time, as soon as you look at it, there's no question that this is Paul Smith.
Right. Right. No, I agree. It's a fun piece. I didn't think you dissed Paul Smith really in what you had said last week, but I guess I could see how some Paul Smith fans might have felt that way.
Well, Jason D'Ambrosio, I thought had a stroke when I said that Mark Silvestri was my favorite X-Men artist.
Oh, see, that's well, no. Hey, everybody's got their picks. Jason's a huge X-Men fan, so he's entitled to his opinion on whomever is his most favorite. But I don't know if Paul Smith would be my favorite, but he's definitely up there. I hate to say it, I probably prefer Silvestri over Paul, but only by a little. And because like we've always talked about, I mean, not only will I probably never be able to afford a Paul Smith X-Men page, but I can never find a good Silvestri page out there either. So
yeah.
Or even Romita Jr. I mean, they're just so hard to come by. So, but no, I didn't think you were dissing on him. But I always love Paul's. Paul's very consistent when he does these character pieces. I mean, it doesn't matter, what character he's working on. He always seems to do a really beautiful job. And this was a good pick. I did see it when it was posted, but I would have probably passed it over. But I'm glad you selected it. Oh, got to put the like on there too. And here's a piece from Peach Momoko. And let's see. Ghost Rider Return of Vengeance #1 cover. And it's an Adam K's collection. So, wow.
This one was like, it's arresting. It's another one. You see the thumbnail and you're like, what is that? So I love the angle. I'm not sure where to start. I love the angle. I love all the different sort of painterly stuff that's going on in the background, like almost the Rorschach test that's happening in the background. Mm-hmm. The design of the bike is so cool. I mean, it looks like skeletal while also like clearly reading as a motorcycle, which, everybody I feel like it tries to take a little sort of tweak, unique take on the bike when they draw Ghost Rider. Mm-hmm. So, and the chat's going up about Peach, but I'll be honest, Peach has never really impacted me until I saw this piece. This piece just like grabbed me and I'm like, oh, I love this.
No, I love this image as well, and I actually wanted to use it as the thumbnail image for this week, but because of the angle, I couldn't make it work right. I was trying to turn it a little bit, and I was like, all right, I just have to move on and pick a different artwork for the thumbnail. But yeah, for me, there's a lot. I do like her work a lot, but this piece just hit me the right way. It wasn't certainly not as colorful as some of the work that she's put out there. Mm-hmm. But I too liked. I like the treatment beneath the bike. I like the treatment on the bike. I like the flames. I mean, everything about it is just. I just really, really like it a lot, and I hope to see more work like this from her because it's fantastic. So
Larry made a great comment. All Ghost Rider art is the same except for this. I kind of agree. I kind of get that.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Yep. Larry, you know what? Larry, you would be a good person to do a 10 pick one time. Just throwing that out there if you're open to it. We'd love to have you on the show. So because your insight and wisdom into this hobby is
deep and wide.
Deep and wide. Yeah, there you go. That's works for me. So I hope I didn't put a like on this one yet. So fantastic pickup.
Oh, one last thing. The chain. So the chain is literally like drawing you from the foreground to the subject, and it's subtle, but it's really cool.
All right. No, I agree. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, no, it's perfect. I mean, I did again. I love that because we get a bike that you would never get in this kind of layout by tipping it. I mean, she just did everything about it. I really, really, really enjoy this image. And look, hey, Larry said he's in. So good. We've got Larry. We'll book Larry for the first Thursday in March. How's that? And another vote for Larry from Dino. Here.
Oh,
all right.
There you go. You're in.
All right, Larry. I'll shoot you an email. We'll set it up for March since we're doing the first Thursday of every month. But let's see. Next piece is, all right, this is covered as Shadow Punk #1 in Matt S.'s collection. And Matthew Simacek?
Simacek, yeah. I don't know.
Simacek,
sure.
Yep.
But not familiar with the artist, not familiar with the book. But I love the use of type. The logo that's worked into the piece is really it's not super readable, but it's nicely executed, and I think that it makes a cool graphic element in this. But this has like Frank Miller feel to it in some ways, the stark contrast between everything that's happening here. But the addition of the blue and red just make this really powerful. There's a sense of movement. It's well designed, but at the same time, it's a little bit chaotic. Like the figure kind of breaks up that stuff that's going on with those action lines. Yeah, I don't know. It just this is another one where I wasn't familiar with it at all, but just had to pick it. I like this a lot.
Nope, layout's really great, and I'm not familiar with it as well. There's a link to a Indiegogo that's going to be starting up soon. So yeah, it's in Matt S's collection. Matt's been on the site for a very long time. I don't know if it says it's mixed media, Marcus. So I don't know if it's all digital or if it's a lot of the. It's funny. I can relate a story a little bit from the Infected by Art book that a lot of creators today, they're finishing all their work digitally, but they put so much work, and I don't see it with this piece, but I'm just relaying a thought here, is that a lot of creators do everything in graphite. So they're doing some form of pencil work and highly detailed pencil work, and then coming in and finishing it digitally. And on Infected by Art, we force the artist posting their work to categorize it by medium. So, when I see these pieces, I think that they should be labeled as digital, but the majority of the people who work that way feel that the work needs to be categorized in the like pencil and illustration category versus digital, because really where they spend most of their time is on the pencil side. So I just thought that was a unique insight into the way the artists view their own work, and not necessarily with this piece, but a lot of artists that are doing digital colors who spend a lot of time prior to that and on the pencil piece really feel that their work should be categorized as pencil, not what the finished piece is. So, and I'll tell you what, I'll be announcing winners to Infected by Art tomorrow for those people who are in that thing. But I'll show a few pieces next week on the show, just from artists that kind of fall into that category. That because I actually had a few conversations with them. I'm like, are you sure I should be putting you in the pencil category with this piece? And they're like, absolutely. I am known for my pencil work. 80% of the work that goes into this is all pencil and in various forms of graphite. And I don't want to be categorized in the digital category. So
I guess I didn't even really take the time to consider if it was traditionally produced or not. I just really liked it. George makes a comment that this is probably in Matt S's gallery because Matt S produced it.
That I was wondering that. I wasn't sure, but that might very well be true. I'll shoot him an email. I'm going to leave this tab open, and I'll make sure that I email him and ask him some questions about it. But still a great pick. I think, like you said, it's a dynamic. It's very Millerish. It's I like it. I'm curious. I'm going to check out his Indiegogo, and I'm going to add a like on there for him. All right. So next up is a piece by Dan Brereton of, let's see. And this is in, John Popa's collection. Very cool. John is, I think he's in Northeast Ohio as well.
Yep.
So Jack
he's one of the, is he Cran Boys?
He is a Cran Boy. Yeah. He was, that's right. He was on, we interviewed them about this time last year. So yeah, John was on with Karen, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess not much to say here, just the cool little character piece, but, fun, spooky character design, which is in my mind kind of what Dan is known for. Well executed. I like the watercolor style. I like the tone overall of the look of the piece, and then the pumpkin being that more vivid orange, like drawing your focus to the jack-o'-lantern. I was a big fan of Nocturnals when he was doing that book back in the day. So, and this is kind of cut from the same cloth. No,
definitely. I mean, Dan can kind of do no wrong. I love his color palette. Depending on he's got the really cool side and warm side. I mean, with the way he approaches stuff. But no, seeing this piece, I'll be honest. Mike's had a Brereton piece over it that he's never put on his website that I've always looked at and thought I should buy it. Now that I see this piece, I'm like, I think I should. Next time I'm over at Berkey's house, I'm gonna have to pick that up because I don't have any more.
This gray piece that's floating over my bald head is Dan Brereton.
Which one?
Right above me, right there. That's Matilda and Leone from The Professional when they're knocking on doors and she's putting her pistol up to the eye hole.
Yep. Oh yeah. No, but Dan's a great guy. He's as an artist, I mean, he's a big supporter of the Hero Initiative. He's I gotten to hang out with him a few times at Big Wow, and he's just a great talent, a really, really fun guy to hang around with. And it's a good pick. And let me get my like on this one. John Popa. I'm going to save his gallery too. I've honestly not spent a lot of time in John's CAF gallery before. So
I've added a bunch of watch galleries. I mean, this process, obviously, I'm looking at so much art, but I've had a lot of watch galleries based on this.
And for those who don't know what a watch gallery is, that's as a premium member, you can follow other CAF members, so you can keep up to date when they update their CAF. And if you look on the screen here, if you're for premium, you actually get this second column here that says watched, and it gives you an update on people whom you're following. And if you're not a premium member, basically you get two columns, and it's just straight up. You get this column and then a next set of results. So when you follow somebody like that, or watch their CAF, it allows you to get updates. And then when we send out the twice daily CAF email, you are also notified when somebody updates their CAF whom you're following or watching. So that's actually that's a good. I never really thought about that, Chris, as far as like using this as a resource to find more people to watch. I mean, it's a feature that I don't use too often because I'm so busy. I almost don't even check my daily CAF email. I wish I could say I had the time to do it. It's one of the things I regret, running CAF, is that I don't take the time to enjoy the hobby like I should. But no, I hope that everybody, through seeing this and following these reports and being able to get into other people's CAF galleries because of the artwork we're featuring, that you do take the time. And if you're premium, follow their CAF galleries, click the watch button at the top, and I should do it more often as well. So
the cool thing for me is that when somebody that you watch adds a piece, you just get an email.
Right.
So twice a day, if anybody I watch has added a piece, and I just can click through from the email and go right to the piece. I'm looking at most of the newly added art anyway, but it's just a nice shortcut.
Mm-hmm. Nope, I completely agree. So it's and the thing is, and I know there's a lot of people who are premium who don't utilize the service at all. I just think that they don't know it. It's funny because I've been over their houses. I think Mike is as a premium member. He doesn't watch anybody, so he's just got this blank list that says watched, which is weird. I've tried to point it out to him, like, hey, maybe you might want to try to do this, and he's like, I don't get it. I don't know what
he's like, are they adding Ramita Spider-Man art? No, okay.
Right, but it's when you're premium, you get this add to watch galleries option up here, and so I would encourage anybody who's premium to watch other galleries that you like, where you're seeing a collector who's got similar tastes as yours. Watch their gallery, and you'll get updated regularly whenever they're making updates to their CAF, and you'll never miss an update from them. You get a whole separate list by clicking this. I'll see a full list of watch galleries that the full list of watch galleries that I have ordered by that. And similarly, even over on my dashboard here, you get a section new in your watched CAF galleries. So literally anything added in the last 7 days from the people whose galleries you're watching, you can easily see anything added to those people. I've probably got, 250 people that are in my watch galleries. Oh no, I have about 250. It's just telling me I've got 74 results, but it literally breaks down just the people you're following and the art they're posting. So it makes the dashboard, also more valuable because it adds this extra section in there when you're premium and following other collectors. So again, just another feature on CAF that I know a lot of premium members who support the site don't know all the features that are there. Mm-hmm. This is a really good one. And actually, I wanted to back out of that. Did I skip a piece on us?
You did.
I did, because we were on that RoboCop piece. Yep. Okay, now I'm back on it.
That's okay. So I had a piece from Carlos Magno that I picked a couple weeks ago, but I picked that because it was a commission that belonged to a friend of mine, and I thought he'd get a kick out of that. But not that there was anything. I mean, artistically, it was perfectly fine. It was terrific. But I saw this week. I have a special place in my heart for RoboCop, so that was a big part of it. But again, Carlos Magno, I mean, this guy seems to be like an up and coming talent. He seems pretty legit based on what I'm seeing him put out. This piece, I mean, it's got movie poster vibe, which, it's based on a movie, which makes a lot of sense. But this thing is really, really tightly rendered, and there is a lot going on this image. So
No,
respect to him for, putting this all together. It does read a lot differently in color now that you bring that up.
yeah.
But yeah, just really cool. And I could see this, I could see this being like the Italian movie poster for RoboCop when it came out or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's really, really nice. But it's back to, again, I love seeing the black and white along with the color piece, because like we've talked about before, that when they take the buildings and drop them out like that, and it's no
Yep.
longer the line art really is invisible. I much prefer seeing that image right there. So, well, I mean, they're both nice, but I prefer the original. So no, good pick. And I'm going to open up a separate tab to check out how much Carlos's work is actually on CAF. Well, 86 pieces, so fairly well represented.
He's it might be finished now, but he was working on a Kang book for Marvel recently. And there's been a lot of that show up on CAF.
Okay. I don't believe I've seen any of it, but I will check out a search for him later on tonight. All right, so I've added a like to that one. Now this is Galactus by Simone Bianchi, and Dichotomy's CAF gallery. Yep, another great CAF gallery.
This is Mikhail's.
Yes,
I saw this on Mikhail's Instagram first, and then have been patiently waiting for it to pop up on CAF. So Mikhail, thanks for adding this to your gallery so I could finally pick it. I've been like waiting with bated breath. I love this thing. Mostly I love the shapes that he used, what he used, and then what he chose not to use when he put when he designed the image. It's pretty brilliant. The palette is terrific because purple is, a really super potent, powerful color, and he uses it to great effect here in a lot of different shades. And he's also got some some blue toning up there to like take the edge off a little bit on that earpiece that Galactus has on his head. Yeah, I mean, very European, very obviously well illustrated, beautifully painted. But for me, the thing is the design. The design of the piece is just tremendous.
I don't know. I mean, it's a beauty, and I was going to pick this one as well, and then I went back and double checked your list and saw that you had gotten it. But no, it's fantastic. I mean, it's
you can go back to picking first if you want.
No, I like
that option's always there.
I do appreciate you picking first, though. It makes me work a little bit harder at my choices. But no, this is a wonderful pickup. I used to own one piece by Simone, and I sold it, and I've regretted it ever since because
was it X-Men Ghost Boxes piece?
No, okay. It was a Wolverine piece, and I should never have let it go. But it's one of the many mini golf losses in my sob story about that. But
I'll pour the rest of the beer out for the mini golf.
Yeah, and honestly, it was like I wasn't familiar with his work, and I ran into him at San Diego when he was in Artist Alley, and nobody was asking him to do anything. So this was, I don't even know what year it would have been, like 05 or 06, somewhere around in there. And I wasn't familiar with it, but I really dug what he had on the table, and I just said, "Would you do a Wolverine?" And he did it. He really kick-ass Wolverine. And but there you go. I sold it in 2008 to fund the dang mini golf. So yeah, at any rate, but it's still out there. Maybe I can find it and get it back one day. But
if anyone in the chat owns Bill's Simone Bianchi Wolverine,
yeah, look me up. I definitely would like to get it back. It was pretty cool. And again, it was neat because meeting him before I even knew any of the work that he had done, and just running into him back when Artist Alley was a decent Artist Alley at San Diego, and to pick something up from him was pretty special because because he's always been a great talent. So again, Bill flipped it. Marcus. Yeah, I guess you could say that, but I didn't want to.
Marcus is getting a lot of mileage out of that dolphin emoji lately.
He really is. Flipper is, and that's right. I have some memes I've got to work on with Flipper. All right. So let's see. Final piece is this Mr. Freeze by Tony Moore. And I use this as the show thumbnail instead because, it was in color. I really like the palette on this one. And I'm I'm not a DC guy, but I've always been a sucker for Mr. Freeze. I mean, I think he's a cool villain, and I really like the way he's drawn here. And Tony Moore is just an incredible talent. So this is in Jason Tolliver's collection.
So Mr. Freeze did not mean a hill of beans to me until he appeared on Batman the Animated Series.
Right.
And that Kevin Nolan designed this design really with the dome and the red goggles. I mean, ever since then, I'm like, yeah, Mr. Freeze is, I like Mr. Freeze. I picked this because this wasn't anything that I recognized right offhand as Tony Moore.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly,
I wouldn't have either. Yeah.
I don't remember seeing Tony Moore color pieces too frequently. I have like a tonal ink wash piece from him.
Mm-hmm.
But this seems painted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, it was just like, I don't know if he's stretching, a little bit to do some more color stuff. But if that's the case, I mean, he knocked this out of the park.
I just, I mean, I'd love to get a commission by him. If
It's hard.
I'm sure it's not easy. Let's see. Yeah.
So my piece that I had from him as a commission, and his wife was taking the list in Chicago, and she said, okay, what's your request? So he was just taking like, I think 20 requests, and then he would pick, kind of like Adam Hughes used to do. So I said, well, I'm halfway. I'm torn between Nick Fury and Jonah Hex. And she looked at me and she said, if you pick Jonah Hex, he'll do it. I was like, okay, we're on.
Hey, that's good. Larry mentioned that the animated series made him love Mr. Freeze too. So I wanted to point that out. That's yeah. Great minds think alike and have get turned on by that character. But no, this is a great piece, and I do agree, breaking the fourth wall in there. I mean, it's a very interesting approach to that, and it deserves to be a cover, right? I mean, it's just
yeah,
phenomenal.
Absolutely. Whoever's the art director at DC right now should pick this up. They
should be tuning into this show. But yeah, no, it's great. I would have picked this piece as well. It's one that I saw when it got posted. I happened to be checking out the new section as well that day. And had you not picked it, I would have as well. So great choices as always. Now, I kind of reverted a bit back to my old ways where I, leaned heavily on popularity and whatnot, because there was a lot of great artwork posted this week. And I had a tough time sifting through it. I mean, I really tried to kind of mix it up just a little bit. I didn't pay attention to the people posting the artwork, who the collectors were, more so just looking at the art. So, but yeah, it's a pretty going back to my 6 months ago picks, but I think they're all really good. So
vintage belt.
Vintage picks from me. So let me get this screen set up here. I think the first one is a doozy, of course. I had to start off with that. But so this, of course, is in Scott Williams' CAF gallery.
Oh. It's
the cover to X-Men 5, and I haven't even liked it yet, but it's already got 53 comments on it. But I mean, man, I really enjoyed the second run of X-Men, and just Lee Williams really can do no wrong. But this cover in particular, I mean, I was, who isn't a Wolverine fan? If you love the X-Men, Wolverine's usually you want Wolverine on the page, but here you get a cover that is just so amazing. You got Omega Red on there as well, and you can always tell Scott's inking from this period on Jim's work, and I mean, this is just such an amazing piece. I love the fact that the X-Men logo is practically covered up by the battle. I mean, everything, all the action kind of keeps moving you around. I mean, when I look at this, I can just envision, his, Wolverine just constantly punching, and same with Omega Red. I mean, there's so much motion in here, and in such an image that you don't normally see too often. I mean, a lot of times, you've got to have motion lines and like the Thing piece, a lot of action explosion-y things going on to represent punching and battling going on. But this piece, just from the layout and the inking that Scott's done, I mean, this piece is constantly in motion, and I love it. I mean,
Yeah,
absolutely love it.
the way he pits the figures against each other, like even from the way they're drawn, right? There's no question that they're fighting, right? I
Right.
mean, they're killing each other. So, yeah, and I was gonna pick this, and I was like, is it too on the nose? I was like, I really love this cover. Actually, I when I saw this come up, it made me go back and look at their cover
Hmm.
run on this book.
Sure.
And I gotta say, this is way up there. Uncanny, like if you take Uncanny out of it, but just the X-Men book, this is easily one of the best in my opinion.
No, I completely agree. And seems to just trying to, yeah,
Mhm.
amazing, isn't it? But I kind of felt like, hey, Scott's had this in his collection. He might as well show it now, right? Now that we know what the prices
Yeah,
of
yeah,
of artwork in from the series is going for. But yeah, I had to pick it as an X-Men fan, and just because,
I
yeah,
get it.
I skipped the covers though the week before, 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I
Yeah.
had to go with this one here. But yeah, great piece. I mean, Scott's collection is one that you can kind of browse through, anytime, and you'll be overly impressed by his collection and the pieces that he's held on to. So yeah, I mean,
Omega
congrats
Red
to
is
him.
also like he's the Omega level 90s X-Men villain too. Like
Exactly.
everything about him is like 90s, 90s, 90s.
Nope, you are absolutely right. And everybody else is speechless too. So fantastic. So why isn't Lee one of my favorite X-Men artists? Mickey asks. I don't know, because it is from a period where, I was really just getting back into comics, and I don't know. I mean, why is he not one of my favorites? I don't know. There's just something about, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that one. Why is Jim Lee? I mean, I feel bad for Jim that I'm saying he really probably isn't even in my top 5 as far
Well,
as
it's not from
X-Men
when you
creators.
fell in love with the book,
No, I mean, right. I mean, I
right?
started reading, Byrne was still drawing the book when I
Mhm.
first started buying my copies. I think, and honestly, I think I can never remember the first one, but it was one of his last, right? Days of Future Past, I think, was probably the first one I picked up off the shelf. Okay, whose comments are you laughing
James.
at? I wasn't. I'm not even on the comments tab.
Uh,
Stop being edgy. I am not. I'm not trying to be edgy. No, shoot, I should resize the screen a little bit to make the art bigger. There we go. That's better. But no, I mean, I love Jim Lee's work. He's as X-Men artist. I just never, I want to. Everybody knows it. I mean, I want a great Cockrum page. I want I'd like to get a Byrne page back. I'd love a Kirby. Paul Smith is way up there. Silvestri. So, I don't know. Maybe he could be number 5. I mean, he's close. He's just not in the top. He's definitely not in the top 4. I'm
it's
sorry to
weird.
say.
It's a little weird for me because like to I don't like the X-Men, but I love Jim Lee. So Jim Lee is what made me read X-Men and not vice versa. And for you, it was clearly the opposite.
Hmm.
You were reading X-Men maybe in spite of the fact that Jim Lee was on the book. So not that you don't like him, but it's just not where you began.
Right. And Larry, I said didn't I say I wanted a Byrne page? I thought I said Cockrum, Byrne, Paul Smith, Kirby. I'd want those people over Jim. And not that I don't want a page from Jim. I'd love to have one. I mean, everybody knows I picked up a nice Portasio page recently. And so I would love to have an example by him. He's just not in my top 4. So sorry to say, but I do love his work, and I love this cover.
Yeah, you
So
picked this cover. Come on.
exactly. I'm sending Jim some love.
Yeah.
All right. So I did already show this one, but this is, of course, by Jack Davis. This is, let's see, Tales, let's see, Crypt Terror Splash. Let's see. It's weird. Let's see who. Oh, it's in John Butler's CAF gallery. It's funny. He's like he's done something to, he's only put a period. He's changed his gallery name to a period. I always like to look up here to see their name, and he is. All right. That's an odd one. I haven't seen that before on CAF, but anything by Jack Davis, right, is going to be something that is worth checking out. And a title splash is always something that always gets my attention. I've seen a lot of them. Berkey tends to have has had quite a few pass through his hands in the 10 or 15 years he and I have been friends. So I see this piece. I love everything about it. I love the fact that there's a lot that there's almost more text on here than there is characters at the end of the day. And I don't just mean the large copy at the top, the stat, and then the rest of it. I just I didn't read it, but I love lettering on pages in general, and just so seeing all of that as well just made me maybe like the page even more. It says a work of art on it. I don't know. I was sucked into this page and decided I had to feature it. And I love, I'm a big horror fan at the end of the day as well. And you get lots of creatures in the back here. It looks like a mummy, werewolf, several skulls. Looks like kind of a Frankenstein, I guess. Yeah, it must be Frankenstein in the back. That looks like the creature, maybe Dracula. So it's, what more could you want from a Jack Davis piece of art?
Right. Unless it was a war book, and I think you picked one of those not that long ago too. So.
I did. So I'm a sucker for this period.
These EC books are so packed with exposition that you get these like word balloons that are like walls of text. That's not uncommon at all. But yeah, it's Jack Davis, so it's like tippy tip top level cartooning. So yeah, easy pick, good pick.
Yep, I agree. And hey, look, Stephen Marcus mentioned Quietly. I'd probably put Quietly over Jim Lee. I hate to say it on X-Men, only because I love Quietly so much. So
I'd put Quietly over Jim Lee on Superman any day.
Okay, see, so then you can do it on X-Men too. I mean, pencils only. I do like. I have actually a couple Quietly interiors that were inked, and I have one by Scott Hanna, maybe one by Townsend. But I prefer the pure pencils by Quietly over anything else. So now I've got a top 5 that doesn't include Jim Lee. There we go. All right, so let's see.
We're really opinionated this week.
We're not trying to create controversy here, but it's good. Hey, you ask a question, you get the answers. We'll tell you what we feel, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day. All right, so I've got my like on this one. I'm gonna have to talk to Mr. Butler about how he's named his CAF gallery a dot, because that's not doing CAF's SEO any favors, as Scott Wingo mentioned something about SEO just recently. You got to be either leave your name in there or call it Mr. Butler's original comic art collection something, but don't leave a dot in there. Dot's not doing any of us any favors, because that actually does get put into parts of the titles and some keyword descriptions and things that I try to finesse on CAF to make CAF appear better in the listings, and periods and light copy in your descriptions don't work well for any of us. So here you go. This is in Dino's collection, and it's Frank Miller, Sin City Family Values, twice up DPS. He's got it listed as a poster and a cover and a iconic movie prop. It's all of those things. And let me just click on this thing for a bigger image. But man, oh man, it's his birthday. We could talk all about it, but this is just a fantastic piece. Dino, you keep adding to your collection amazing pieces of art that I dig checking out every time you make an update. And I'm so happy that you continue to post these incredible pieces, because this one's just, I love it. I mean, there's so many different approaches that could be taken on a piece of art like this by Miller. But all those blacks, he could have just left that out, right? But and done things. He could have done most of this in reverse, and it would have been. It still would have been a masterpiece. So he's taken but he's taken this approach to it, and it's just phenomenal. Everything about it. I love the characters in the cars. I could stare at the characters in the cars for the next half hour and just be impressed by how they look. But I'm drawn back to the car, to the figure, getting hit by the car. Everything about it. Frank is just a master, and when this is like, I just love it. I was really happy to see this and happy to feature it today on his birthday. So what do you think, Chris?
Well, the thing that I think is coolest about this is that a car is ultimately like an inanimate chunk of metal, right? But he exaggerates in such a way that like the car almost looks like a caricature of a car. It still reads as a car, right? But it's also clearly like he drew a car. It's not like he took a photo of a car and mocked it up in SketchUp and like whatever. Like this is a caricature of a Cadillac, right? And it's really effective in that respect. I also like the fact that there's some like there's real movement in this piece in spite of the shocking amount of black that's on it. I mean,
Right.
the piece is more black than it is anything else. So to get that sense of movement when it's just ink, ink, ink is, that's probably one of the things that Frank Miller does best. So not surprising.
No, I love it. Congratulations, Dino. That's a great score.
So since Dino likes metrics so much, I'm tempted to look at his gallery and see if we can look back to his previous appearances on Dueling Dealers and see if we can chart his sales and then his upcoming acquisition, because I have a feeling there's a pattern.
There could be. I mean, if you're not selling on Dueling Dealers, you're selling on Heritage. I mean, I'm sure, with the way the market is today, I can't imagine that a lot of collectors aren't, selling a few pieces here and there. I mean, I think everybody's selling and buying all at the same time. I mean, I think that's but I've thought that too, not just with Dino, but just with, everybody's trying to raise money right now. Right. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's hard. It's tough to be a collector. So, any way you can, you do.
Well, whatever he's doing it well. He's succeeding.
Well, Dino's had one of the best collections on CAF for a very long time, and I know that he's let go of several choice pieces over the last couple of years, but he's certainly made up for it in the pieces he's put in his CAF gallery at the same time. So, congratulations, Dino. Let's see. Next up, I told you I went really traditional here. I mean, I picked a Dave Gibbons Watchman page. I know. Well, that's why I feel kind of bad. I didn't really, I mean, I think I reverted this week. I just had to. I don't know why, but I love, anything with Rorschach from Watchmen pages are always in very high demand. And this was a classic moment from the story. One of the ones that I always loved. I mean, I thought they did a good job in the movie with the way the scene played out as well. But just Gibbons, Alan Moore, and again, it's back to you got all the letterings on the pages. It's not not like the modern stuff. I just love everything about it. I mean, we've talked about Gibbons Watchmen pages, I think, in the past, but I always love the 9-panel layout. It's so classic in comics, and what they did so well throughout the Watchmen series. But I mean, again, I'll never own a page, but I'm so happy that people continue to post great pieces on CAF. So congratulations to Michael on this one, and I've already liked it. But again, just I mean, I was a sucker this week for everything that was like a home run. So
I think this to me is one of a handful of like Rorschach pages in the series. This is iconic. It's cool from the respect that, like, okay, he's together with Night Owl, and like they did this brief little, kind of foray into the past where they got teamed back up again. And, so it's really cool from the story perspective in that respect. But, yeah, there's just, Dino, I think, pointed out Rorschach's in every panel.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, no. Great page.
Yeah, you're not going to get that too often, but yeah, exactly. So I had to pick it, and congratulations to Michael Clow for adding this to his CAF collection. So next one, I know it's kind of a sort of bondage image, but
Cue Marcus.
I know I was saying it before Marcus said anything, but great piece by Frank Thorne, Red Sonja. It's number 8 title splash. I gotta get my like on it now before I forget. But again, lots of copy. Like I said, I love it. I like title pages. I really have a hard time not spending a little bit of time checking them out. I mean, but again, Frank Thorne was an incredible talent. I mean, he was basically he was born to draw Red Sonja at the end of the day, right? He surrounded himself by lookalikes, and at the end of the day, I just love this page. I love everything about it. I could see some other artists, maybe styles that he was kind of maybe emulating in a weird way, or that maybe he idolized. I mean, I see some like Kubert work in here, but I love the layout. I love the perspective on the piece. The lower, it's almost like I'm sitting at the bar watching this happen, or maybe even sitting on the floor. I don't know. Maybe I just got knocked down. I don't. At any rate, I love the angle on this, and there's something about this is unique as a title page in the way that it's blocked out by the heavy line work that is around the art, but also around that title block at the top. But at the same time, then you look at the story blocks. They're not just straight rectangular blocks. They're kind of, emulating maybe the period. That
Yeah,
this
like
is something.
torn paper.
Right, exactly. And
Mhm.
so I just like a lot about everything about the way this page was approached from a design standpoint and a narrative standpoint. So just a fantastic page. I even like the little bubble where it's thrown Red Sonja in there at the bottom
That's my
right.
favorite part. The little inset
Yeah,
panel. The little
yeah,
inset panel, I
it's
think, is her face in that panel is awesome. Love it.
right, and you didn't have to do that, but I mean, so again, everything about this page just really turns me on in all the right ways. And again, even though the fact that she is in bondage, Marcus,
Mhm.
yes, but yeah, no, I could not pick this one.
The good news is, Bill, she's used to it. It's fine.
Exactly, she doesn't think of it
No.
in a negative at all. But yeah, no, great piece, and this in Paul P's collection. Paul, if you haven't checked out Paul P's collection, I mean, I'm sure everybody in the CAF chat has, but you got to check out Paul P's collection because it's very choice. So, all right, so I've got my like on that one there, and now I picked this one. Alex Ross. I would always avoid Alex Ross just because everybody loves his imagery and his use of color, his his just he's a master at the end of the day, right? I mean, but when and I'm an X-Men fan, but when I looked at this, what really struck me more than anything was I couldn't imagine how amazing it would feel to own this particular piece of Alex Ross art and hold it in my hands and just be like, I'm the guy that owns this artwork. Because there are some days, there's lots of things that I own that I love. I don't necessarily think that this would be a piece of Alex Ross art that it would be the one that I would go for, but I love it so much that all I could think about was like how proud that collector would feel when they got it, right? I mean, they actually have that to be the guy that or the gal that owns this artwork.
Yep.
I mean, I'd be thrilled. I'd be tickled pink every day that I got to look at this piece of art. I mean, it's just, I mean, it's classic Alex Ross. I've got a piece from Dynamic Forces hanging on my wall. That's the one that was a variation on what was it, like X-Men 108 title splash by after Cockrum, that's signed by Cockrum and Alex Ross. And we got a Stanley Sig here too. But at the end of the day, that's why I picked it. I picked it because I was like, man, whoever owns this has got to be like just thrilled to just look at this thing every day. So
it's that's an incredibly special feeling, and in spite of the fact that like I don't feel like I have any, at least from my perspective, duds in my collection. There are only a handful that give you that particular feeling. I know exactly what you're talking about when you describe
right.
it.
It's true, and again, that was really the only reason I picked it. I mean, I could, because you could pick any piece by Alex that that's cover quality and be like, this is a great piece of art.
Oh yeah.
But this one just impressed me, and it did. I felt like the guy who owns it for a moment when I was looking at it, just like, man,
That's cool.
I'd be in heaven every day when I picked that piece of art up and looked at it. So,
I hope CAF does that for somebody every day.
It should. It really should. Honestly, and you think about it. I know that a lot of people say they tend to look at their CAF galleries more than they pull their portfolios out. But it must give that people that joy every day. But it's funny. I never experienced that until I saw this piece where I was just because I've never thought about what somebody thinks about their own art.
It happened for me when I realized that Dave Mandel owns the cover for Punisher Limited Series #1. And I don't know why, but when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, someone owns that art. And like,
right.
I was possessed by that same feeling. I was like, what has that got to be like to have that? I mean, that for me is like, if there is a grail, like one, it's that. It's hands down. I would give you my entire, you can have my house. I don't care. It's that piece
That's
of art
the piece
for me. And I'll sleep at my mom's house. I don't care. But it will be next to
with
me.
The parents.
It will be next to me.
Oh man. Well, Rick Welch says, Chuck has the poster art. That's true.
Yeah. Well, and Jim Warden has the poster art where he's got the M60 and he's walking in front of the graffiti. That's mind-boggling too.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And Larry mentions that Dave has a Giant Size X-Men 1 and Secret Wars 1. So
I know
so
he's
yes.
incredible, Larry.
so Dave gets to have that feeling every single day, and we get to have it too because we get to see
Vicariously.
much of what Dave owns is in his CAF gallery. Some of you have actually gotten to go to Dave's house too and check out his CAF or his art in person, which I hope to one day. That would be a trip to remember. I've just heard about it, but I'd love to be able to see it in person.
Felix, when he was on not long ago, talked about it, right? He and Dan went
Yeah,
there.
yeah, exactly. And but yeah, I've known other people who've had the opportunity to see his collection in person. And but yeah, that was the last one I read though. And every time I hear about somebody going to Mandel's house and checking out his collection, I'm always envious. So again, congratulations to Matt E on this one. It's got to be a great feeling to have it in your hands.
Great reason to pick that one, Bill.
Yep. And since you picked Galactus, I also went back and I know I picked a Galactus piece recently as well, but this is in Mickey's collection. This is from Silver Surfer 50, page 35. Ron Lim and Tom Christopher, of course. I mean, just a great classic image of Galactus. You get the Kirby Crackle, and
he's got his hand out.
Exactly. I mean, everything about the image is archetypal for this character, and I loved it. I couldn't pass it up. Rise, puny creature, rise and face the monumental majesty of Galactus. So, it's all right there. But again, great. Hey, look at the lettering in there. I mean, that's art in and of itself. Love the approach to that. But I didn't see that until just now. But I really picked this one just for Galactus and his presence on the page. So I just so again, I was going easy this week. Sorry, everybody.
Who has this?
This is in Mickey's collection.
Okay.
Mickey Adamanthadu. So yeah, got the like on there. But yeah, Mickey's been adding a lot of art from his personal collection into CAF over the last year and a half, and I appreciate the regular updates he does. Usually one piece a day or thereabouts. So and if you haven't checked out Mickey's CAF gallery, you definitely should. Let's see. Next up, this one. This is from the Doomsday storyline, Action Comics 684. And by Geis and is that
Rodier?
How do you pronounce Rodier? Okay,
I know think it's Denis too.
Denis, okay, because well then I know that Denis is a very prolific inker, has a lot of artwork on CAF. I'd seen the name before, but had never done a search on it until I saw this page. But I loved it. I love it actually all the panels on this, but the bottom panel in particular with just the destruction. I just love the everything's clean about this piece. The ink work is so it's like so precise. But how could you throw that much rubble into a 2/3 panel and not make it look messy? And yet it's not. It's such an amazing use of the whole size of the panel. Fills in a great Krakatoon sound, and you get all this. I mean, I look at it. I mean, when I first saw the pieces, before I looked at it closer, I'm like, this kind of reminds me of All Red. And then I'm like, no, that's not. It's different, And then I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. I know, because I didn't even look at the title. It was one of those ones where the thumbnail attracted me to look at the piece. I skipped over everything just to look at the art. But I love everything on this page. I love the approach, and it's from a really, really important storyline, of course. And I mean, look at that. You see that, you would never think that. I mean, it looks like they took out some of the rubble almost, or by coloring it just took so much away from that bottom panel.
Yeah, it's a lot less. Well, it cleans it up a little bit.
It does. I mean,
but it up a little bit.
Yeah, it does a lot. I mean, that's
for me. It's the facial expression in the second panel. Wow.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, Superman's just waking up from a post-battle beatdown that he thought he won,
and he looks whooped.
He does. Yeah, I think. I read. I think he says something like, I'm going to need a little bit of time to rest before I can move on to something, and then he doesn't get any time to rest, obviously. So, this is a great panel, important piece. And whose collection is this in? S-Riz. Oh, okay. S-Riz is not a premium member, so that's why the image isn't bigger. I wish it was, but at any rate, fantastic addition to S-Riz's CAF gallery and
Glad he added the
to
published image in this case. That was a nice,
yeah.
effective use of the published image.
I think more and more it's good to see people doing that, honestly, because I think it's good to have that contrast to see what the piece looked like originally to how it appeared in the books, and and honestly, it's really good for people who aren't collecting or haven't started collecting to just realize that what they see in the comics is different from what is actually drawn on the page, and hopefully it turns people into art collectors. At the end of the day, so I would encourage everybody who might be on the fence of adding an extra image to my servers, please do. If you're going to add a color piece, it really does enhance CAF by adding that extra piece to the
I
site.
really liked, it was towards the end of the show last week, so I think we like hustled over it. But the person who we showed, they had a nice scan, but then they actually got a close up, like a cell phone picture of a certain area, and it was at an angle. That was a great use of like additional images too.
That was in that Magnolia piece, right?
Yeah.
The Hellboy piece? Yeah. No, I agree. I thought the same thing. I thought, and you know what? It was actually creatively done, right? Because I think there were two pieces where it was cell phoned at an angle. And I've always felt like the auxiliary images could and should be used for detail images, especially when you have a bigger piece. I mean, think of that Alex Ross. I mean, you could be showing just a couple close-ups of the faces or whatever. We would have a better impression of the detail on the piece if people do that. And I don't think it's maybe useful for all images, but in certain instances it is. And that Magnolia piece was pretty cool, the way the presentation was. I mean, so
you're inspiring me to go take some pictures, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, everybody think out of the box on certain pieces, and yeah, I'm actually thinking that I might want to do that on a couple of mine now too. All right, so everybody should add at least one auxiliary image to one piece in your CAF gallery this week. That's my encouragement for everyone. But no, you're right, absolutely right. I didn't even think about that at the time either, but it struck me obviously because I think there were 4 auxiliary images there.
Yep.
2 that were at a funny angle and 2 that weren't. So, yep.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody get creative this week. So let's see. I got my like on that one. 2 more to go here. I had to pick another Perez piece. This is from Tales of the Teen Titans 41. This is in Mr. Lovitz's CAF gallery. Huge George Perez collector, of course. Brother Blood page here. Great storyline, great Perez art. I mean, there's, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, George Perez can do no wrong. I saw there was a few nice. I think Mike Perkins had a really touching write up about his time inking Perez's work, and it took him a month and a half or something or 2 months before he could even write anything about it. So every time, and I read that actually earlier today before I picked the piece. So again, I have a hard time. There was actually another piece added to CAF this past week that. In a weird way, might have been the more easier pick. It was kind of this JLA Avengers piece. Oh
yeah,
that was just it was
2
absolutely.
Of them, I think, and they were great.
Were there 2? I only saw one, but you're right
2.
there. All right, if you haven't seen it, everybody should definitely check that out. But I wanted to just go back to a storytelling page versus something that was just an awesome splash page by George. And I always loved this storyline, and it's so funny. I mean, even when George Perez to me, it was always like number 2 to burn when I was growing up, as far as like, but they were neck and neck, but I could never really understand why. I always looked at George's work and I always felt sometimes his work was over rendered. I didn't, I don't know why. It's like he just put too much detail in there sometimes, but I look at it now and I don't feel that. But when I was younger, I think I always put him second because I always felt like he was working too hard. But I look at this now and it's like, damn, I'm so glad he worked so hard at it. They put so much effort into these pieces, and I wouldn't want to have it any other way. I mean, the younger me feels stupid, for thinking that they weren't equal, or that George was just working, trying too hard to put too much detail in.
I had this identical discussion with myself not long ago as well. And for me, I realized that what I thought back then was that it was too perfect. Right. And which is maybe a different way of saying what you're saying, which is like he's trying so hard. Right. And
yeah.
Now,
I mean, why draw all those details in the rock? I mean,
now I'm like, you were an idiot, kid.
I know. But that's exactly how I felt too. It's like, why are you trying so hard all the time? And it just didn't make sense to me, my 18-year-old self. And I look at it now and I just, yeah, I do. I feel like a fool. So, I had it. So I picked this piece over a more, obvious, pick of the week
Mhm.
only because, I really, I really wanted to highlight the detail in the piece, and the word balloons are pasted up on this one. So, it's not drawn on there, but no big deal. I don't care. In a weird way, I'd almost would like to see the word balloons removed because then I'd see more art underneath it. But,
Mhm.
at the end of the day, fantastic piece added to Michael's collection, and just one of many Perez pieces that he has in his CAF gallery. So, and Michael had a really nice, piece in the George Perez tribute as well. Probably one of the most creative bits in there. If you haven't seen the Perez tribute, he was probably around the 40-minute mark, but it was very entertaining and very touching. And So, all right. So let's go to the final piece here. This one. So I finally did pick something a little out of the ordinary. Milton Caniff, Terry and the Pirate strip from 1936. Just, I know I've featured
Mhm.
pieces by Milton in the past, but I just love his work. And, at the end of the day, I looked at this and it's like, oh, there's nothing really special about it. But I wanted to take the opportunity, and I don't say nothing really special. Everything about every panel is really, really well done. I mean, I guess I feel a little light here. I would have liked to have seen some background, a little bit more work in the background on this because the characters end up appearing very stark, like the way they're drawn. But I wanted to feature a piece by Milton because I hadn't done it in a while, and he's one of my favorite strip artists from this period. If not my favorite. I don't own any artwork by Kniff, and I really hate that. Berkey. I just never see anything available. Berkey's got a couple pieces that I could have picked up, but they're later in the run. I'd really want to get something earlier, but I just love Milton's work, and I don't know. Well, how do you feel about it, Chris? I mean, you've
Well,
seen enough of
Kniff, I
it as
mean,
well.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find a more influential artist,
Hmm.
honestly. I mean, I think he's up there in a different era, but he's up there with a Kirby or a Sienkiewicz or whatever, as far as like people who looked at his stuff and said, "That's how I want to draw. I want to draw like
Hmm.
that guy draws." Um, so I think the first panel is the winner here, in spite of
Right.
it being sort of an outdated, depiction, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. But the composition, the way those figures are put together in that first panel, is really terrific.
Right. I mean, I always strip artists have such a difficult time to tell a story in 3 or 4 panels. So
Mhm.
I'm always amazed, at what both the writer and the artist end up putting together because it's not easy. And so again, I just wanted to feature another piece by Milton because he's one of my favorite artists. So maybe not the best pick artistically wise, but it was the only piece I think added by Milton in the last week. So that was the piece I got. Um,
I
but
think, to your point earlier, it's difficult to deride, anything that he produced individually, right? They're all
Right.
terrific. Even on a bad day, he's better than most.
Right, exactly. And it, so I was emailing with the guys who are putting that Carol Day thing together,
Mhm.
trying to find the missing pieces. They actually continued their ad on CAF. I guess they have a few more pieces to go there. I'm hoping to have either Chris Kilacki on in the next week or two because he was one of the people spearheading that search for those pieces. I think they've got like 85% of the pieces that were missing.
Wow.
But I told him, hey, why don't you come on? Well, on the show, we can promote it here and give him an extra avenue to maybe complete that because it's definitely a worthy project that's trying to pull together Carol Day strips that from I don't even know the storyline because I'm not familiar with it. But at the end of the day, hopefully I'll have him on in a week or two. I guess they ended up extending their deadline because some issues with the I think with the person who's laying out the book or whatnot. But again,
Mhm.
Kniff, I'll throw that out there, is still always will be one of my favorite artists out that ever worked in strip comic books, comic art. So Chris, we made it to
We
another.
did it again.
We did it again, and we got it done, and it's not even at the 2 hour mark. It's
All
close,
right.
definitely close. But hey, next week you've got the week off, so enjoy it. But I'll expect
I'll be
you.
in the chat.
All right. Next week Tim will be my guest, choosing 10 artworks, and I'll make him pick his 10 first before I do my 10 as well. So we'll kind of keep
Ooh.
this rolling. I promise I won't go for the home runs next time. I'll work a little bit more at it. But this week I just, okay, call me lazy. I put a little too much effort, I think, into the Dueling Dealers, memes and filming six
your
different
picks were
characters
good.
is tough.
Your picks were good for me. On some level, that really big stuff like that Jim Lee cover, if somebody doesn't pick it, like, what are we doing?
Right. Right.
They can't all be esoteric and,
Right. Well, I think
Jim Lee needs to he's a marquee guy. He needs to be on the show.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, well, I think that, that's been a great thing that you've infused in the when we're choosing the artwork, is that you've been picking pieces from artists. You're always trying to get a new artist every week if you can, and just picking pieces that are kind of not mainstream. I really think that that's important, because obviously I was not doing that at all leading up to having you here on the show, and I think that clearly I was doing a disservice to picking art on CAF, and you've helped open my eyes, even though I didn't do much this week like I should have. But no, you've been a great addition, and I think having a guest on once a month will definitely help out. Larry, you're going to be on there first Thursday in March, whatever day that is. I'll have to double check. I think it's probably around the 3rd or 4th, but we'll square that away. But again, Chris, thank you so much, and I look forward to having you on in 2 weeks.
All right, good night, guys.
All right. So again, another great set of pieces here, and I'm glad that everybody hung out for the whole show. I really appreciate it. No free T-shirts today. I gave out 10 last night, although I wasn't contacted by a couple people. They must not have waited till the very end. So if you were watching the show last night, you might want to at least fast forward to the end where I announced the 10 winners, because maybe you were one of them, and I'd be more than happy to have you shoot me an email. I think I got contacted by 6 out of the 10. So I'll probably do free T-shirt giveaways again starting next week. One a week or something. I don't know. I've given away a lot of T-shirts in the last 2 months, but happy to do it. So nope, it's always my pleasure, Hart. I'm glad everybody enjoyed the show tonight. I'm gonna call it a night, because, like I said, I've got a few other things I got to work on. I've got some appointments tomorrow, and I still have a little bit of work to do on my taxes to wrap those up. But again, a fantastic show as always. I hope, as I mentioned earlier, that anybody that can make it out to the Heroes show in June, please do. It's going to be a great time, and I'm looking forward to getting to hang out with so many of you at that show. So anybody else that can make the trip, I just hope, wholeheartedly hope you can, because it will be a very fun event for us all, and hopefully we'll be able to squirrel ourselves away and hang out and talk about flippers and all that other stuff, and enjoy the hobby in person for a change rather than here virtually. So thanks again, everybody. And yes, I have no show tomorrow, but I do have the 2 p.m. show on Saturday Eastern Standard Time with Howard Chaykin. I got to rest up for that one, because just with the emails I've had with Howard, he's pretty sharp-witted. And so I want to be as sharp-witted as I can back to him, but it's going to be fun. Those pieces, I think we've talked about it before, but the character pieces, I believe, are all in that $400 to $600 range. I'm not going to tell you what the price is on the Star Wars piece. I think there's probably going to be a lot of interest in it, but I think the price is fair. He and I talked about it a bit and arrived at a price for that. Again, I think it would probably get double that in a heritage auction. So, I don't think anybody's going to be upset with the price that we set on that piece, but it'll probably be the last thing we show as part of at least the sale portion of everything. So we'll go through the character pieces first and then hit that one last. So, if you're a fan of Howard's and you're a fan of Star Wars, it's a rare opportunity to get a cover recreation, especially for Star Wars #1. I wasn't expecting it, and knowing Howard, he might not do it. Might not do one again. I don't know how many he may have had his hand in previously. I know Jeff and I talked a little bit about it a few weeks back. But at any rate, please tune in on Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern, and we'll have Howard on, and I'm sure we'll have a really good time talking with him and selling some of his artwork. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great Friday, and I will see you on Saturday, everybody. Good night.